Hey, what's going on YouTube, and welcome to this video on the supermining website. Now, to be honest, I was debating whether or not I should even make this video, but after research and how the site was even brought to my attention to begin with, I thought it would be best to make a non-monetized PSA, because I never asked to share or subscribe, but I would ask to share with anybody that sees a site like this and some things to consider. A lot of it reminded me of BitConnect, and as a reactive measure, I was donating on the weekends with mining. I mean, it's not a lot, but just to try to help people that were excited about the crypto community and got scammed. And so I thought I would make a proactive approach to show exactly what this site is and how it actually functions and what happens when you actually make a purchase. Because from the research, there's a few other YouTube videos I found. There's some Reddit and some BitcoinScam.com articles, but none of them actually show real transactions, what happens. And so I thought I would take one for the community, because I really don't want to support a scam, but at the same time I want to show people exactly what happens if you try to make a transaction and if you actually get paid or not. So with that said, I also want to kind of structure this to also go into some of the details, even some of the technical aspects of how these types of schemes are set up. And I know that's not going to be interesting for everybody. So what I'll do is I'll start with a summary as far as what to expect with the site, what happens when you make a payment. And then we'll go through a website overview. We'll go through the website, look at some of their statements and some red flags with that. And then last night I went ahead and recorded myself making an actual transaction to try to withdraw. And I'll show you in detail what happens with that. And then I'll have to do a voiceover on that one, so my mug will disappear while I do that, while I describe what's going on the screen. And then we'll come back and look at it again real time and follow some of the money, and you'll see how they kind of disperse it to try to hide their identity. So with that said, what you're seeing right now is the Exodus Bitcoin address I was using to mine. And if we close out here, you can see I have a zero balance. And if we look at my current balance here, it's at 0.015. If we go to, it timed me out. So let's go back to our receive address here. Let's copy this, paste it in here. Here we go. You can it's still mining away. If we go to, so was it account and finances? Oh, look at this. We got withdraw of 0.15378 that is pending, and it wants to upgrade or make payments fees. Well, the thing is, I have already done that. And so I'll get into that into detail, but at for those of you that don't want to watch the whole thing, bottom line is when you make a payment, the wallet address changes. So this will be a fresh wallet address. If you look at this on, say, let's just go to blockchain.info, and if we put in this address, you can see there's no transactions. It's never been seen. And that's basically the loop that will happen is you send funds to one of these addresses. They'll transfer it to multiple addresses to kind of shuffle it around. And then when you go back to your cloud mining here and it still says pending and you click on this, then there'll be a new never been used address. So you basically will just keep try to send, and you'll never get your money. So in this quick summary, that's what happens, and I will show you in their HTML code how they make it set up where you can't even use the balance that you mined to cover any of the fees and stuff like that. So with that said, yes, it is a scam. It's not necessarily a Ponzi, even though there's a lot of Ponzi aspects, because the thing is you don't actually get paid. It's just an investment fraud where they take your money and that's it. You don't even get they don't even distribute the new money that comes in, at least to anybody that's using the site. So that's the quick summary. Spoiler alert. And so for those that want to go through the rest, we'll continue now. All right, so here's their main website, and the title on this is Free Bitcoin Cloud Mining. And you can see it says start Bitcoin mining today. It's super simple. Your mining rigs are set up. Your mining rigs are already set up and running. So all you have to do is put in your Bitcoin address and click start mining. Simple as that. All right. What else we have here? Why is super mining the future of mining? As soon as you set up your account, you can start to earn your first coins from our Bitcoin cloud mining service. And you can withdraw as little as 0.005. You can auto mine coins with the highest exchange rate and squeeze the most profit, even though it's saying it's specifically mining Bitcoin. It's saying that it's auto mining other coins. And then this is basically just saying that you're using their hardware, so you don't have to use it at home. Like I've got a S9 running right now, and it is noisy and hot and barely profitable, especially this time of year. So this could be, look at this. If I spend 0.01 Bitcoin, I can get 250 Satoshis per minute, or 0.00360 BTC per day. Well, let's take a look at what my S9 is doing right now. It's at 13.5 or 6, and it's estimating 0.000711. And this is saying it's 0.00360. That is some serious profit for only 0.01 Bitcoin. This is a real miner. And this, if you don't know, Awesome Miner uses the API that connects with whattomine.com. And so it's this value is based on this real-time hash rate that it's getting. And this, last I checked, was when it came to actuals. I haven't really checked it based on the 64.85 Bitcoin price, but last time I checked it, it was almost, I think it was a little over $1 a day profit, because it cost me a little over $5 to run it, not to mention the heat and the noise. So like I say, I mean, for this little amount of Bitcoin per day, that 0.01 to get 0.00360 per day is phenomenal. And then it just goes up from there to, 1.8 Bitcoin per day if you essentially buy 2 Bitcoin. So this is saying that within less than 48 hours, you already make your money back. That to me was kind of a red flag right there. But that's what they're saying that the Superminer Premium is. Then you have this very generic about the company. They got these, engineers and, very non-descriptive of what their company is or who they are or anything. So that's kind of a red flag. On the contact down here, you've got a form you can fill out or use their email address. But as you'll see that on a article about this site, this 20-22 doesn't actually exist. It's a it actually just shows up as a 20 Featherstone, I guess. Here it's not the actual numbers in front of it. So that's kind of a red flag too. On the affiliates, just like BitConnect, they had affiliate program. They're saying that you can get 10% for standard and up to 100% referral income for premium. What that actually means, I'm not sure. So far, everything's been generic. There's no specific on the hash rate that you're getting, where that's coming from, how you can mine that for free. It all sounds too good to be true. And I'll get into the payouts a little later, but this is basically where they send They're different wallet addresses that they're real transactions, but it's coins that they're shuffling around that to addresses that they own. It's not like people like me or someone that's trying to use the site and using their addresses. This is just what they shuffle around themselves. So they're real transactions, just not with real people using the site. And there's a number of things in the fact that you can read through. I won't read them all for detail, but just kind of from a high level standpoint, it's explaining what cloud mining is, and that, you know, it's using a pool, like what I'm doing with my S9. It's in a pool and then it's distributed, but now you're using their equipment, and for no fee or for no initial cost, all you need is a Bitcoin address and you can join that pool for free. But how much? I mean, they specifically said it's 0.000288 with zero investment. 0.00. Okay, so it's still less than my S9 per se, but still sounds pretty enticing if it were true. And this is kind of funny. Is this a Ponzi scheme? No, this is not. This is an investment in cryptocurrency similar to the stock market. A Ponzi scheme is an investment fraud that involves the payment of maintained returns to existing investors from funds paid by new investors. Ponzi scheme controllers often solicit new investors by promising to invest funds in opportunities claimed to produce high returns with little or no risk at all. So what's little or no risk at all than just to have a Bitcoin address and instantly earn money, and have up to 100% referral awards? I got ahead of myself. That's on this one. We offer up to 100% referral power on successful purchase of your referral. Now, what that means, I'm not sure, because still there's been no specifics on hash power. It's got referral power and this and that, but in specific amounts of Bitcoin per day and per minute. But that's not how real mining works at all. And of course, with any legitimate business, we currently do not provide any refunds whatsoever. That's another red flag, because mining powers once allotted will not be refunded back, which from what I've seen, it's basically just a database with a counter. And what should I do if I do not get an answer to my question? Just send an email to support@supermining.website. Well, and you'll see that from other comments, sometimes they'll get a response, but then when it comes to where rubber meets the road, then they go silent. So that's kind of one thing I've assumed. So that's kind of the general fact. On the investment side, you know, like we already stated, all you need is a Bitcoin address to get going. Good deal. They only accept Bitcoin for payments. And this is what I was talking about. This is the fee. There will be a fixed fee of 0.0002 BTC will be applied for all transactions and will be taken off from the main balance. Okay. And we'll get into that later when we get to the actual stuff, details with the transaction. But, and this is kind of interesting. All your coins are immediately applied to your account balance and are available for instant withdrawal. You can always go to the withdrawal section of your account to withdraw your funds. We'll see how well that works in a little bit. And here's another thing. How many accounts are allowed per person? No more than one account is allowed per person. Multiple account openings is against our internal policy users and might result in membership termination. And I have seen on other forums where people talk about logging in with different IPs or machines. And so just to show you, when we go to my account here, here's all my login dates, and you can see it's from the same IP address. Because I heard some people say if you use the same coin address with different accounts or whatever, that can be violation or whatever, but just to show you, that wasn't the case for me. How long are plans valid for? All plans are valid for 6 months from plan purchase date. But with that said, let me just skip ahead to withdraw, because there's a section here where it says, if I pay for an upgrade, how long is it active? Supermining upgrades have no limits and work as long as your data centers are powered. Our uptime is 99%, so upgrade confidently. Okay, but then, so which one is it? Is it indefinitely or is it 6 months? So there's some discrepancies there as well. And it tells you how you go blockchain info to get a wallet. It's a whole nother thing, but and here's the one where I got that quote from earlier. You can generate, this is specifically saying, you can generate 0.000288 BTC every day without investments. You can also upgrade your super mining to generate up to 1 BTC every day. And again, even on their homepage though, it shows you can get up to 1.8. So just some more things to consider. And lastly, with the withdrawals, withdrawal applications are generally processed instantly. In rare cases, withdrawals can be processed manually and take longer. And here's the minimums. You got a minimum withdrawal of 0.005 and a minimal upgrade of 0.01. So, and as you see, when I get into the transaction, I made sure that I had enough to get the minimum and any fees to cover the withdrawal. And this is also a big red flag for me, is can I upgrade super mining with money on my balance? Super mining currently does not support upgrading from internal super mining wallet yet. You can only upgrade using external wallets. Of course, because any money that you have on your internal wallet, why not? I mean, it's not, they don't exist. It's just a database generating the numbers. So of course, only an external wallet for you to have to make the investment, send money to them, is the only way you can do the upgrades. And with that, here is an article that I was telling you about where someone wrote a review. I'll put the link in the description, but if you go down and read the comments, a lot of people say it's a scam, but here's like what I was talking about, make sure you don't violate their policy. And other people saying, my 6th payout is pending. Let it paid, and then we'll publish my screenshot here. Everyone can see that. Sorry, I don't prefer to send emails. Where's the screenshot? How'd you get your payout? The paid and required maintenance fee, but my requested payout is still pending. This is exactly what I mentioned at the beginning, what happened with me. And what happened specifically, and we'll get into that next. So again, there should be a lot of red flags, but now I want to get into, let's actually test it, because like I say, there's been comments saying that it works. So let me show you what happened with me. All right, so here's my initial balance before I went to withdraw. And as you can see, it's just still mining away. And when I click on withdraw, you've got a minimum of 0.005 BTC and the maximum. Well, as you can see here, I'm trying to see if I can withdraw the minimum 0.005. And I'm highlighting, I'm trying to delete, I enter numbers. I can't do anything. So it's basically only allowing me to withdraw the max. And so far, all they've said was that you can't use your mining balance toward upgrades. It didn't say anything about how much you can or can't withdraw. They just have a minimum and a max. But as you can see, max is literally the only option. So to try to figure out why this wasn't working, I used the Google Inspect element to look at what's going on in these div classes. And as you can see under this input, it's got this read-only value. And what that does is, as it states, makes that field read-only. And you also have that hidden value there, which is changing the value that's in there. And it's dynamically changing based on what the current balance is. So in that text field, even though it looks like you can, change it, all you can do is, tab into it, highlight it, or, copy paste type thing, but you can't actually change it. And that's why no matter what, you're going to have to either upgrade, because they say there's no fees if you upgrade, you can just withdraw instantly, or you have to pay the fee in order to withdraw. And as they stated, since you can't use the external or the internal wallet, you're going to have to pay the fee no matter what from an external wallet. And that's how, even on the free one, you're going to have to send your Bitcoin that you already have to try to make the withdrawal. And here's the moment of truth. So I say, fine, confirm. And nothing really happens. Doesn't really do anything, so I try it again. End up trying to refresh the page. Alright, so then under the finances, now we've got the infamous pending. And there's two transactions, same ID there. It's like a duplicate. And when you click on one, you see you get a Bitcoin address to send the payment to. And this has changed. They recently changed it. It used to be 0.01 no matter what. But now for the maintenance fee, they've changed it to 0.001. So I think they're trying to entice people by setting the maintenance fee lower. And here's my Electrum wallet that I'm going to use to send. And one of the things I did here is just to make sure that these transactions had the same Bitcoin address, because I want to make sure that they weren't two different unique addresses type thing. So here it is, the moment of truth. We paste the pay to and give it the most appropriate description. Well, technically it's not a Ponzi scam because you don't actually get paid, but I put that there just in case I was able to get paid. I also noticed too, like when I click on the financing, like notice it's going to Google Analytics and Facebook, and I don't even have Facebook on here, so just doing some other behind the scenes stuff. And here, just checking out the preview, we've got our fees. The green is using the inputs I'm going to be sending. The output is the yellow is my change, and then the bottom address there is what I'm sending to the actual scam site. So in this case, I signed it, put in your password, and then I save it for a local transaction. Normally I just hit send, but I was just being a little more cautious before I totally pull the trigger. But you can see there's that local send there. And so I just switched to broadcast to broadcast that to the network. And now we've got our official, it's done deal. Payment is sent. So then as we wait for the confirmations, this is kind of sped up. But as they started getting confirmations, then I would go and view on Block Explorer like this. Just to validate that it's showing 3 confirmations. So you can see, everything looks good so far so good. And again, at this point, it's very basic. This is the wallet I'm sending it to, so you can see that it was first seen just now. You know, it's at 12:29 a.m. You know, it's got the value that I just sent it, the 0.001. So this is what I mean. It's a fresh, just one transaction, the first time it's ever been seen, brand new address. Now that it's mostly confirmed, I went ahead and to check to see what the status is on the supermining site. And as you can see, it's still pending, but now notice when I click on the question mark, there's a bit of a delay because it knows that it has a transaction with confirmations now. And what happens? Well, let's see. Shocker, still got to pay. And notice the Bitcoin address has changed. So even though we made a payment to the previous address for the full amount and it shows confirmed, now when you click on either one of these, you're going to see that it's going to still say you owe the same amount, but now there's a new freshly generated wallet address to send it to that has 0 transactions. All right, so now that we're back in real time here, let's take a look. As you can see, the account's still mining away. And if we go to our transaction that's confirmed, if we go to details here, let's copy this transaction ID. And we'll put this into blockchain.info. And here you can see the transactions. So this was the very first one where I sent it, and then you can see that they have been dispersed since. So let's go here. We'll go to the visual tree, and so here's the original amount that I sent, and you can see here that this this address here is actually my own address. With the if you're not familiar with unspent transactions, basically any when you sign a transaction, that is an output that goes to somebody's address, and until that becomes an input when they reassign it to somebody else. Let's see, I'm trying to figure out a quick layman's way to explain this, because I was thinking about doing a whole tech thing on this, but basically you've got inputs and outputs. All inputs must be spent, and so in this case my input, like if we go back over here to the details, the input I had was this value here, and this is what I was sending, and this is actually going to myself as change. So and actually let's take a step back now, because that's like where this fee comes from, is if you take your total inputs minus your total outputs, whatever's left over is what that's not specified. That's what goes to the miner, whoever, or the pool that solves that particular block that this gets confirmed in. So that's why you can see this 224 here matches, where was it? Right here, the fee, 224. So, and just to show you, so if you take your total inputs, 0.00181395 minus 0.00181171, you're left with 224. So that's how the mining fee in the Bitcoin network is determined per transaction. Is they'll get the block reward plus fees of all the transactions that are there. So from a visual standpoint, that's why I was saying here that this, I have to spend whatever's in my input, fully spend it. So some of it, the 0.001 went to this address that was what was on the mining website. And then this is my change. So as a matter of fact, if I go over to my addresses here And you can see here's the address right here, and it's actually labeled as change, because you can have multiple addresses. So and you can see I have some labeled here from my previous stuff that I was mining. But this is just one example. I could have it set up where is instead of sending one transaction of 0.008, I could have it send 0.001 8 times, so there'd be 8 or 9 transactions, and then if anyone that's doing a blockchain analysis, they're not necessarily going to know that 8 of these are actually still my same address. And that's one way some people try to get around the pseudo anonymous piece, is to have, as you can see, you can have multiple addresses on the same wallet, as well as have multiple wallets and shift them around, and change the rules as far as how you want to distribute your transactions. So in this case, this is where it went, and then you can see here it's had a number of transactions sent since then. And I can only assume it possibly could have gone here. But you'll see they just keep branching out, and they can split this up however they want. So it's hard to say for sure exactly where these went, because as you can see, it just keeps ballooning, and it's really hard to trace down exactly where your actual funds went. But the point is, as you can see, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And this supermining.website is definitely a fraud. And one thing I forgot to mention is when you look up their website on Whois, they're using WhoisGuard. And they're a company that basically, protects their actual identity. And I've used that before too for some of my websites when I didn't want my information out there. But everything about this, there's no individual, there's fake address, there's protected domains. You can't tell who the registrant is. So, and more importantly, I hope now that you have seen firsthand what happens when you try to make a payment, that it's just going to ask you again and change the address and start the transactions all over again. Because again, if we look at back on account here, finances, and look at this address. Let's just put this in our blockchain. You can see no transaction, so it's like a brand new wallet, and then this will keep on going, and you'll never see your money. So hopefully this has been informative for you, and like I say, if you feel free to share this, and feel free to leave comments to share your stories. And if any of you are interested in like a technical blockchain, because I run the whole reason I'm running my S7 with a full node is more for education, looking at the actual headers, how the technology actually works. Just as an example, this is one of the full nodes I have running. You can see I have 92 connections in. By default, they all have 8 connections out. Wow, mempool is tiny. If you've heard that term mempool, this is the mempool. And man, last year this time, it was in the hundreds of thousands. That's why the fees were so high. Now there's like hardly any transactions, and it's probably because of the price of Bitcoin went down. Kind of crazy how much of a difference 1 year makes. But like I say, I think, the overall, I think I have a lot of fun with in the cryptocurrency space. I'm just a casual miner with some GPUs and an ASIC, but just be aware of these scams out there. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. And you know, like I say, be careful out there. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.